Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Vahid Serajian, and I'm the CEO and founder of Geoscience. We are at your homes online with another session of Startup Roundup, sponsored by APPIH. As you know, and as you're aware, our mission is to help small businesses and individuals. We have focus on Iranian professionals in oil and gas community, but we are not limited and we don't bound ourselves with this community. So everybody with every race and nationality and from anywhere in the world can freely join us and tune in. So today we have the honor of having Mrs. Lalitha Raman, and she's with us today. She is the Vice President of SCORE Houston. I'm going to read a little introduction of her background so that our audience can know her a little better. She has helped clients with finance, accounting, and tax preparation and education businesses. She has over 26 years of experience working in the city of Houston in different departments. She has over 15 years of research experience working at Carnegie Mellon University, Michigan State University, and Baba Atomic Energy back in India. Her nonprofit experience is working with Braeswood Place Homeowners Association for 8 years. She has also been an active person in various accounting business groups, like in women accounts and business women's groups, serving as president and various other capacities. She has a bachelor's in physics from University of Madras in India, and from Michigan State University. She has a master's from University of Houston, and I think she has a PhD. Oh, she has a PhD from University of Michigan State University, yeah? So, and then she's the vice president of SCORE Houston, and she'll soon become the chair and president of SCORE Houston, I think in the next couple months. So our audience should definitely know you and get your background and take advantage of your great knowledge and experience in business development, in different branches of business. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Mrs. Raman to take over and start her presentation. She is going to give us a presentation with focus on what they are doing and what services they are providing for professionals at SCORE Houston. And in addition to that, we are going to talk a little more about SBA in general and some other agencies that can provide valuable information for small businesses. So Mrs. Raman, thank you very much for joining. And it's always a pleasure to see your happy face. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I've been with SCORE for almost 8-9 years. And one of the things I started out was doing presentations. That was my main goal. And I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction of SCORE is, because a lot of people have never heard what SCORE is. SCORE used to be a service corps of retired executives. It was formed after World War II to help veterans and other people returning after the war to start the business. You know, if you are like me, coming from India or other places, we don't have a good lot of agencies that help us to set businesses. You know, somebody says, I want to start a business, they start a business, And many times they fail. Here, even in spite of all the help we can, a lot of businesses that start without having a good mentor tend to kind of flounder around, what I call, So with that kind of introduction, it's always good to have agencies like SCORE, SBA. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them. So SCORE Houston has been in operation for almost 50 years. We have a couple members that have been there for more than 35 years. So you know that they get a lot of what do you call it, reward being a mentor. So what do we do? So I hope I can change these slides, right?
Sure. Just press the space
Mm,
button.
okay, yeah, got it. What is SCORE? It's a voluntary organization. You would be surprised to hear that it's a voluntary organization. We are all there and we don't get paid for anything. Our services are absolutely free. And I would say 80% of our workshops are also free. So what are we going to be doing? We want to help people to start a business. When you want to start a business, you don't have any idea what are the various things you have to do just to get started. And
Mhm.
then comes growth, expansion, and then you have. And it was founded, like I said, 1964 became an independent group working, and we get some funding from the U.S. Small Business Administration. So we used to be called Service Corps of Retired Executives. But what's happening now is a lot of younger people are coming in. They want to give back, so they want to become members. So now we have a mix of people that are still working or having a business. So it's no more anymore retired executives. So we just have the trade name SCORE. And we are in Houston, we have quite a large number of people. So what do we teach you? We teach you how to make your business, teach you the road to success, long-term success. We say SCORE, like you will see in the bottom, it's a score for the life of your business. From the day you start to, it can be 5 years, 10 years. We have clients coming back up to 10 years. What are they doing now? They want to branch out, do something different. So that's what it is. And so let me just give a couple things. Right now in SCORE, we have 343 chapters all over the United States and almost like 11,000 volunteers. Every year, new businesses start, quite a large number. If you look at Houston, we have 150 volunteers and we mentor more than 5,000 clients in a year. And we have about more than half of them go down to banks, to various organizations to see how they can get funding. Because a lot of times when you start a business, you don't have the money that you need. You may have some seed money, but you don't have enough to go forwards with. That's what it is. Like 50% of all businesses that start survive for maybe 4 years, 5 years. We don't want that happening. We want the businesses to be there longer, 10 years, maybe even grow longer. So 1964 was helped with partners with SBA to get started out, okay? And with better preparation, you have a better possibility of success. So what do? We help you to pre-start up. So if you come to our office and say, hey, I have this great idea. I want to start a business. So we say, oh, what kind of idea do you have? What kind of different things you need? It could be just a store or it could be a service industry. So what are your requirements going to be? Do you need equipment? Do you need seed money? Do you need to find a location? So we help you in all the pre-startup planning, looking at what is it that you need to start your business. Then when you are getting ready to start up, we can help you. If you are looking at places, we can help you with our partners, do a market research to find where do you want to locate it. Like I always make fun. I say, don't start a child care place in a retired community, ain't gonna work. So those kind of things you're going to have to look up. You're going to have to look at the census to see what are the demographics of it. And starting a business, you also want clients who have disposable income. If you start a high-end gym or something, you need money for it. So that means they have to pay. Their disposable income should be higher. So you look at the statistics, who lives where, what do they do, what kind of income levels they have, what kind of family it is, are there schools close by. So you take a look at all these whole general picture before you get started. Once you get started, you have now looked at a place, you have fixed a place. I always tell them, don't sign that lease agreement. Bring your lease agreement and show one of our legal experts in our office. See that there is nothing hidden, because many times we don't understand when you sign a legal document saying for a lease of a place, you are looking at thinking, oh, I'm just going to pay the rent and I'm done. No, the lease may have what we call triple N. You may be paying for garbage pickup. You may be paying for startup. You may be paying for some general fixing up. See, all these things will add up that you never knew that you had to pay, you know. So we look at the lease and kind of go with it. Or if you are going to be hiring somebody on a contract basis, you need a contract to get the contractor to sign with you, you know. So we take a look at it for you. We don't draw the contract, but we can look at it. If you're going to be buying a franchise, you know, then there is a lot more paperwork involved. You need to have your document you're going to sign with your franchisor to see, make sure that you both are agreeing what is it that you're signing for, how much help they're going to give you. So these kind of things are very much into your legal aspects of it. And we also tell you what's the setup you need. Do I need to start up like a partnership, or do I do to be a sole proprietor, or do I go and form an LLC? Everybody thinks LLC is the cure-all, you know. Do you really need an LLC? What is it that you need? So if you are in next, after your startup and you've been in business, then you need growth. What do you do to grow to the next level for it, you know? So that's the kind of information SCORE can provide you with. Then I already said we don't charge you anything. It's $0 for you. And if you bring in, okay, you're great. You know, it's not great, the big confidential thing if you're going to open a store. But if you're going to be doing something that needs a patent, needs a trademark, you know, so you mean that you don't want to tell me what is it that you're going to be doing, then it has to be confidential. I can't reveal your information to somebody else who's walking in the next time, you know. So our things are free and confidential. We meet with you one-on-one, maybe one mentor, two mentor, and we have low-cost seminars, you know, how do you start a business, number one. And then we also have cash flow, we have sample business plan, we have marketing tools. So these kind of things that are available in our library. So what are mentors qualified? How do you know I have a mentor that's qualified? If you are like, um, he said he was a petroleum engineer. We have people that have worked in Chevron, Exxon, not only on the administrative side. These are engineers that have traveled all over and worked with them. Or we have people that have manufacturing background. So you know that if you're going to manufacture solar panels, then you need some expertise on how to manufacture, where to get your stuff, you know, so that you're not dependent only on your supplier. And so, like, if I'm going to start a trucking business, what do I need to know? What kind of truck do I need? What kind of stuff that I need to do? So our mentors have gone through training modules. They have learned, they have to sign a code of ethics so that we don't reveal your information. And we also do have some idea about funding and other things that's needed, you know. And we have, like we said, code of ethics is very, very important, because that's so important in the case that you are coming to us with the idea that whatever you tell me is going to be confidential. And that's where our code of ethics comes, because we are not allowed to divulge information. And we go through continuing education all the time, you know, and we learn from other mentors too. So what's the SCORE has been what we call a platinum award chapter. Why? Because we are one of the largest chapter after like we Seattle, Chicago, California, Orange County. They're all very large chapters, just like us. We started out with a small number. Now we are 150 strong, and we cover starting from Conroe all the way up to Rosenberg to Galveston, Baytown, and on the other side, almost up to A-Leaf and further down. So we cover all over. And we had, when we were working face to face, we almost did in mentoring in 15 different locations. But now we are only doing just like you, Zoom meetings, you know. And we have served like in last year, 18,000 clients in 2019. That's a lot of clients. That doesn't mean one-on-one mentoring. We are also including our workshops, you know. We had like about 200 educational seminars and workshops and serving about 7,000 people. I was the vice president of education, which I did for 2 years. And guess what? I expanded the program. We had workshops in 30 different locations, starting with libraries where we do free workshops. We do work with HCC, we work with the University of Houston, Texas Southern University. So we work with everybody, whoever wants to work with us. So we are very happy to do many, many programs that I can mention a little bit later. So being successful requires passion and commitment. You know, I always say starting a business sounds very easy, but there are both risks and there is a reward. The reward is you feel contentment that you have developed a organization on your own. That's the reward, your satisfaction and your money that it will generate for you. But what are the risks? You know, if you have a family and you start a business, it could be time consuming. You don't have enough time for the family, especially for young people with young children. You know, your family, your wife, your parents have to agree to be working with you, you know, give the time and give you the space so that you can work on it, you know. So that's where the reward and risk has to be balanced, you know. You also, when you start a business, when you're working in a big, large corporation, there will be an HR department. There is an accounts department. So they take care of your bills, your expense account. They buy the equipment, they buy the supplies and do everything, or getting contractors. Whereas if you are by yourself now, I always used to make fun. I owned a restaurant for a while. I used to say, hey, I am the cook, I am the cleaner, I'm going to have to serve you. So it depends on what hat I have to wear today, you know. So that's what you're going to have to be. You have to be prepared to handle a variety of jobs, you know. Or you can say, I can give it to somebody. They'll do my job for me. I have a CPA. He'll do it. But the CPA will provide you with a document. But are you understanding your document? Are you sure that you're collecting all your money? So, you know, there are so many things you have to learn, you know. See, and the biggest problem, most of the reasons the businesses fail, like it says here, undercapitalization. I told you, when you start a business, you may have a little bit of money. You need more money. You have to plan. And a lot of times we think, you know, if you're a consultant, maybe you are okay. But if you start like a brick and mortar store, then it doesn't mean that you start making money the day you open, you know, because immediately your customers are not walking in. And now, especially, look what's happening around us, you know. I am so disturbed to see hair salons, gyms, children's places, restaurants, you know, they are all empty. Parking lots that used to be full are not full anymore, you know. So this is something unusual, but we were not prepared for it, you know, and we didn't plan. Like I read in the paper, a guy said he had plenty of money. He started a restaurant. He had plenty of money. What did he do? He didn't borrow money or keep that money. He went and started another restaurant, put all the money in that other restaurant and another restaurant. So now during this COVID, his restaurants are not making any money and he doesn't have any cash in his hand. So now if he tries to go borrow money, it'll be harder to get money, borrow money right now. So he was saying, I made the biggest mistake in my life when I used up all my funds. I should have gone and borrowed money instead of using up my savings, total savings, you know. So you need to plan. You don't make proper cash flow projections. What's cash flow projections? Simple. For most of you, I'm sure, are engineers or have a business background. Cash flow is nothing. What's the amount coming in? What's the amount going out? You know, and so you have to have enough reserve. Do you have enough to pay everything? So that's why we say your cash flow is very important to start your business. You need to know when will you break even. That is, your revenues and your expenses are going to be equal. How long is it going to take? 3 months? 6 months? What does that tell you? If I don't get enough money to break even in 6 months, that means I need some cash to cover my expenses for those 6 months, right? Otherwise, what would I do? Where will I pay the bills next month? You know, so you don't want that kind of thing. That's why a cash flow projection is important, you know. And you set apart from other people is you work on your business. Just don't think, I set up something and everything is going to run by itself, you know. So let's look at the next one. SCORE, our main office is in Gessner. Right now, the building is closed and there's nobody there. And hopefully we'll be back into operation, but you can always go to our website, houston.score.org, and say, I want a mentor. And what is the specialty you're looking for? You go into the website and you click for a mentor, then somebody will call a mentor and connect you with the mentor, you know. And then we also have a national SCORE website where there is so much of information on webinars and marketing and everything else with it, okay? Now, what is the success story? See, this is how our website will look at. You will see that there is a find a mentor, take a workshop, or browse the library. You know, these are the three main components of our website. Finding a mentor, I just mentioned to you. We have, like we said, 200 workshops. So you can take any workshop. You can go register on the workshop or browse the library. What is it that we have in the library? What kind of legal structure should you have? What kind of cash flow projections can you make? When you want to borrow money, what will the bank require? A business plan. So how can you make a simple business plan? All that kind of information is there in our library. And just remember, it's houston.score.org. Very simple. And we can help you on all that. So SCORE advisors versus mentors. What do I mean by SCORE advisor? Isn't a mentor an advisor? Yes. A mentor you may meet today. An advisor is like a round table, like you are having right now. It's like a round table of people. You meet the mentors, you meet the advisors, and they work with you over a longer period of time. And what happens there is, there you can talk it over and see, hey, where is it I'm not strong? How can you help me? You know, so you have a team of people that can help you with it, you know, and they can meet in your site or Gessner office. I've had people call up and say, my auto shop is in such and such a location, can you come? Sure, we would go by there. And so we try and get you as much help as we can. Okay, so that's what the advisors means. It's a continued operation that you can do. Now, what does SCORE education do? We have seminars. Seminar is an 8-hour day. We cover starting with the personal factors. What is it? I told you, risks and rewards. What do you expect to have? Your organization, marketing. Then we do sources of capital and also how to get for funding, understand your financial statements, how to do your business plan. A seminar, it used to be an all-day thing. We start on Saturdays at about 9 o'clock and go through 4 o'clock. But now we haven't done it for a while. We are thinking of restarting it up again. But we don't want to have a class for all 8 hours. So we are going to split it into 2 parts and start up maybe by next month. Workshops are generally about 2 hours long and they are happening all over Houston, Fort Bend, but now mostly it's through web, and that covers expertise. We just don't have only our mentors to come. We might call somebody from outside. For example, we may call someone from this a small business development corporation, SBDC, which is a University of Houston as what they can help us teach about how do you do contracting, because federal contracting, the federal government spends a lot of money. They buy stuff, they develop things, they may have contracts, subcontract. So you can learn from them, how do you go about doing this, how do you get a minority certification, how do you go about, if you are a woman-owned business, how do you get a woman-owned business certification, what are the various contracts available. And then computer learning, we used to teach hands-on QuickBooks and how to develop WordPress and work with that. Then, like I said, round table. Our speakers bureau is exactly what you asked me to come and speak to you. I'm here. We can speak on any of the topics else too. We do special things on taxes. We do special things on search engine operation optimization, how to make it best use for your company. And we can also develop, we have developed a program where we do a series of classes. We've done it over 12 weeks or something, go more in detail so we can work with that. And that one, there are 3 or 4 different programs that SCORE works with. We work with the University of Houston called a SURE program, which is the for the urban area, renewal of that urban area around the University of Houston. We do similar kind of things with various chambers of commerce, and we do with HCC. We are right now getting ready to do a business plan competition with the city of Houston called Lift Off Houston, where there's a little bit of a money reward, but you still learn how to do business plan. We do what we call a contractors college. A lot of people, when they do contracts, they are all only small contractor. They don't know how to be a subcontractor for a prime contractor. So we teach these people how to do an estimation, how to get surety bonds for your contracts, how do you go about getting really bidding on contracts. So we teach those kind of programs along with other people. And then we also work with schools. You may say, what's the business people have to do with schools? In America, it's so different from like where I come from in India. We don't teach kids, how they can. But as here, young kids they want to have their own businesses. So we try to tell them, yeah, great, you have things, but you still need experience. You need to work in something. Like some people want to do export import. That means you need to understand the logistics of supply. Where do you get? What do you do? How much can you exporting? What do you do? So these kids are so eager, but we need to say, hey, I'm not trying to dampen your spirits of trying to get away from it, but we want you to go back and learn your whatever field that you want to be in, so that if you want to be a chemical engineer, you're going to have to go to school to learn engineering. Like, if you want to be civil engineer, you need to know how to build things, So same thing with the collaboration with schools. And then also many of them now want to do high-tech things, And we do speaker at various events. And what are we doing? Create businesses. We do 2 workshops, business plans, marketing, financial, legal, partner, taxes. Taxes is going to be very, very critical next year because of this pandemic that we have had. We have had a lot of people asking us, saying, hey, you're going to get some credits for doing business at this time. What are the things that you can do? So taxes is going to become very important for next year for planning. And like I said, government contracting. And then if you are being in a business, you start a business, you say, I don't want to start a business. I just want to buy a business. Here, again, buying a business is tricky because you need to understand why the guy wants to sell the business. Is he selling it because it's not going well? Or is he selling it because he's tired, he's old, he wants to retire? So we always, when you come up and say, I want to buy a business, we ask you, what kind of business do you want to buy? Have you looked at his financials to see whether it's an ongoing thing? Is he going to stay with you, help you? What does his customer list look like? I had a travel agency for about 3 years. When we bought the company, didn't have a clue of what I was doing. Didn't understand that these people that were selling it to me because the business was not doing well. Those cheap tickets came in. We didn't understand it. Me and another partner, we bought the business and then we realized what was happening. And their business mainly was cruises and travel. And this couple was retired. So they had a lot of retired people. He worked for a big corporation, new people that retired from the corporation. So they were making a lot of money on cruises and those kind of things. We had no one, we didn't know anybody that was going on cruises. So, and then to top it all off, after about a year, that lady went and joined another travel agency and took all the clients with her. So it was a disaster. So when you buy, you want to understand what is it that you're buying, understand it. So we can help you with it. We do insurance experts, and emergency management is a big thing because you know how it is in Houston. We have disasters. We just had Harvey, 2 years, 3 years ago, and everybody went through. So we are teaching how to be prepared for a disaster, what you need to do. Many of the businesses had no records. They didn't keep proper records for a disaster. So when you go back and ask the federal government, I want money because I lost my business, they're going to ask, where's the proof? What do you have? So those kind of things we teach. Okay. So I just want to show you something here. This may look like very complicated kind of business. It's not. What I want to show you is, this is from last year, October to February 20th, we had 2,000 clients. But look, in July 20th, we had 4,500 clients. That means we didn't stop. Even during this pandemic, our clients keep coming to us. It may not be to start a business, but how do we weather the storm? How do we get a loan? How do we get information from SBA? And so we did almost doubled between those few months. Our information went on. We had a lot of workshops and we had a whole bunch of attendance on workshops. So we continued to work during this pandemic, even though we were not there in the office. So we feel so good about it that we have been able to help a lot of people during this time. So what are the other resources we have? SCORE. SBDC is Small Business Development Centers. These are University of Houston related. They have several offices. Then we have Women Business Centers. We have minority, we do veterans program. Minorities means I work with the Houston Black Chamber, the Hispanic chambers, and we also work with different consulates and people like you that invite us. We have a lot of veterans programs. And then Hagel is Houston Area Government Guaranteed Lenders. We get a list of all those programs. We work with the Houston Greater Partnerships, and then government. I work with the City of Houston, Metro, the Port of Houston, and then we work with the Governor's Office on disasters, and then different grants. There are not that many because we are not working on nonprofits. So these are all the SBA and SCORE resources that we do. I talked to you about PTAC. This is the Procurement Technologies Center. They are with SBDC. They help you for government contracts, Then chambers of commerce, consulates, and everybody else, So now, how can we help you? We can help you. The SBA, the whole local office of SBA, which is also in Gessner, and it covers 33 districts, I think 33 regions. And what do? They help you to plan your business. They do similar. They have different sources they can use. They can help you to launch your business, manage your business, and grow your business. And that's the same thing we do, but they partner with us in many different ways. What do they have? They have several different loan guarantee programs. The SBA in Houston, in general, They don't give you the loan. What they do is they are like a parent behind us saying that if my son fails in the business, I will cover his loan. That's what the SBA will do. They will guarantee the loan, and they have several of them. And I was just going to give a few examples. A 7A loan is for startups. That means you can use it just to start your business, buy your equipment, and use for working capital. Remember, I told you if you didn't make your money for the first 6 or 7 months, you still need to pay what we call the working capital. They provide working capital, or they may also give you money to buy equipment, and then you can renovate or do your leasehold building, and they will guarantee up to 85% of the loan for $150,000 or less. And the good advantage is these loans are for 7 to 10 years. That's a long time period to prepay the loan. But then that means your money that you have is not, you can stretch it out a lot more. Then what do I mean by a 504 loan? This is for normally for getting real estate. Many of them will be, you may want to build a warehouse. You may build a commercial building where you occupy a certain part of the building and then rent the other out. Or you may want to build a gym. You have the land, you want to build a gym. So these kind of things that for real estate, and just like real estate loans that go on, they can go for anywhere from 10, 20 years. And in this case, there are certain rules. You have to work with a local bank and another, what we call certified financial institutions. So there's a two-tier way of financing it. And if you think that going to be in real estate, I want to buy and rent the property, or I want to flip the property, that doesn't work with this program, because those things are considered investments. You buy a property, you rent it and sell. That's an investment property. Or flipping is again an investment. So this 504 loan will not apply for that. It has to be a building where you are going to be there. You may be having a manufacturing plant. That's fine, because your offices are going to be there. And then we have a lot of things called micro loans. These are also given small loans, less than $25,000, $50,000 to do what you want to do. So that's another thing that they do. And we have several nonprofit organizations working on that. Then disaster assistance. That's a prime example now. They have been working for the ever since we started in March with the Paycheck Protection Program, the economic injury disaster loan. So they work on that, and they have so many workshops and so many seminars, that unbelievable number of them. And then they work very closely with the veterans program, because many veterans want to start a business. And contracting assistance, this is mainly because for federal contracts you can do. And if you go to the SBA.gov, that's their website, you can find a lot of information as to what they do. Oh, what happened? I finished? Not yet. I didn't think so. I thought I had one more slide. Okay, almost finished. So that's in a nutshell what SCORE does and what we can do with SBA. We share an office with them. We are partners with them in many, many ways. Every day we work with them. And we work with several banks. We work with Wallace Bank. We work with Allegiance, all kinds of banks. The bigger banks like Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they are looking for businesses $1 million and more. They are not for the smaller guys. So the other banks and nonprofit institutions help you with the smaller systems. Okay, so now I can answer any questions you have.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. Your presentation was really great. I personally enjoyed it very much. So I have a few questions that I would like to ask, and I don't know if Hamid has some questions. But the first question is, let's say I'm a person, I'm just totally clueless, and I'm trying to start from zero. So where should I go and how should I start? Who should I contact at first to take advantage of SCORE's services?
All you have to do is call us or go to the website and say, I need a mentor. And what it is, it's not for us to tell you what kind of business. You may come up, you may say, oh, I am so good at consulting and I can do this. And I can be engineering setup, build up, or I can be a software engineer. You come up with the idea. Then we talk with you saying that, hey, what's your experience going to be, which is better for you, where do you want to go check it out, and let's think a little bit more about it. And once you come up with that, next would be what kind of legal structure do you want to form. If suppose you are going to be like the guy who's cutting the tree in front of my house, he has a lot of liability issue. If something falls on somebody's roof or falls on someone, he will be sued. So we ask you what kind of legal liability you're going to get. Is you're making a product, you can imagine Johnson and Johnson, they made those root stimulator, root weed killers. Whoever knew that that was going to be a disaster in the long run? So
Right.
if you're going to have a product, then will there be any cause for it for you to have a liability? So if you think you're going to have a liability issue, then we suggest that you form an LLC, which is a limited liability company, and then we show you how to do it, where to go, what to do with it, So that's the next step. Your ideas, you come in, your next step is to find what kind of legal structure you want. Then what's it going to cost you? So what's the startup cost going to be, If I'm going to be like me, an accountant, a tax accountant, I don't need anything. All I need is a computer and a desk, I can work from home. So if you are going to start a business where you're going to be working from home, maybe you don't need a lot of capital. But let's say you're going to be manufacturing. That means you're going to have to need a place where you're going to manufacture. So what that's going to entail. So depending upon your business, we work with you to figure out what is it, how much cost you're going to need,
Okay,
So
great.
that's the next one.
So that's a very good point to kind of branch out another question.
Yeah.
Because some of our audience are people that have been laid off from oil and gas community, and many of them are in a big state of shock. So they have been a great engineer, a great, I don't know, petroleum chemical refinery engineer, and now all of a sudden, in a matter of few hours, they see their world has changed, and now they're totally in shock and they don't know what to do. So do you see a trend, especially after this massive layoffs in oil and gas industry? Do you see a trend where laid off oil and gas professionals going toward a certain direction, or do they spread out in general to different industries and different businesses?
Well, right now, like me, when I was working, and if I was suddenly laid off, I'm so used to working for someone and I have no clue what to do with myself, where do I go? So we don't, we are getting clients that want to do. Maybe you want to branch out into education, maybe technology would be something that you may want to do. Or you may have some ideas like a guy who wants to do special technology for fracking, maybe, or
Hmm.
maybe even transportation, So warehousing, these kind of things can happen. Teaching would be one that can be counseling. So we suggest that, depending upon what they do, they may have to look in more. Don't jump in and say, I want to start a business, because that may not be the right thing for you. But we don't discourage you from starting a business either. But there are people coming in now that they are trying to figure out what to do, where to go from there.
Exactly.
So, online things will be great, because with the engineering background, a lot of them can do online
Like sales, you mean?
sales, online counseling, you can even do from here, what people do, like jobs that go to India, maybe people that are working up here, they send the jobs to India because it's cheaper. But you can do the same thing here, and you don't have to export the job out somewhere. I'm not
Right.
saying that we shouldn't do it, but your need is so high here, so you can maybe look at various possibilities. Like I just got a chemical engineer that worked with us as a SCORE mentor. You won't believe, he just got an offer to be a consultant for a oil business that housed in Norway but working in Nigeria. So he's doing consulting for them. So those kind of things are opportunities. Education, technology is what we have to look forward to.
Okay, great, great. So then another question that I've been asked is, do you have any consultation for federal funding agencies like DOE, NSF, grant programs, and proposal writing? So part of our audience are very knowledgeable, like experts in, especially in the field of oil and gas and petroleum. And DOE has this SBIR and STTR program. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Small Business
Yeah,
Innovative Research.
yes, SBA has the SBIR program where they fund knowledge of money grant for working on developing a particular niche of things, that
Right.
useful. And that's the only one grant. But there are other grants apparently. And if you decide to work in that way, maybe you may want to look at, these different entities that are forming now in Houston area, where they are talking about forming ION, like the Rice University is going to be forming a unit for developing these kind of programs. But you know what? Something is very, very important. As an engineer, a petroleum engineer that I once met, the guy came up and he said, I know I'm looking at flow of oil through pipelines, right? But he said the same concept of blood flowing into your body. Here, he developed a device that was doing something either for the heart or men. So maybe there is a way that you can couple your knowledge with your different chemical processes with the medical field. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that you can do, and that's possible. And there are two that I just looked up last week too. There is a Canon, another group of people, and the Rice University. They're all putting money in to develop these kind of technology based.
You
So
mean Rice Venture,
yeah,
Rice Venture,
yeah, I'm
Rice
sorry.
Alliance?
Yeah, Rice Alliance is the IAM that was there. And I was just looking through because I was looking for my own clients the other day. And I was thinking that, hey, the Capital Factory from Austin was one group. They said they took over Station Houston, which was a funding for most of the wider area. So you may have to look at those kind of organizations that
Mhm.
help to fund your thoughts of developing.
Yeah, so on that side, many people don't know how to write the exact or the best proposal.
Yeah,
So one of the best strategies, it's an art, I think. Writing a good proposal is like an art.
right,
Writing a piece of poem, because
right,
if your idea is not clear, if your the structure of proposal is not good, then
right.
you easily waste your idea and waste your time and everything. So is there any kind of special training or courses or anything in particular that people can attend
I
and learn
don't
how to
know
write a good
about
proposal?
writing proposals, there or grant applications. We used to do. We had a mentor. He is from Iran too, Muhammad Tehrani. And he
Okay.
was Dr. Muhammad Tehrani. He was a neurochemistry, worked in Baylor, and then he became a CPA. I think I'm going to ask him whether he can help you guys to develop some proposals, because he
Oh,
did a lot of grant proposals and things like that. But
that's
lately he hasn't been very active because he's been kind of quiet. So let me check with him and see if he
sure.
can help somebody that may have some ideas about writing proposals.
That would be great. That would be great. Okay, so And then I think many people are currently have been impacted by this COVID-19 and all the aftermath of COVID-19. So, do you recommend opening a business during COVID-19? So,
We are getting a few people wanting to open up, but somebody was just asking me about a real estate business. Real estate is going well, but that was not exactly real estate. It was related to real estate. But these days, technology has taken over what we used to physically do. My friend who's in real estate tells me they don't go and show homes anymore. All they are doing is they're putting everything on their website. So you can go and look at a house and you can look at room by room. Now, it's not empty. They have said uh, video wise, they have superimposed furniture, pictures, and things like that. So it looks like a living home right now.
exactly,
So
like
people,
3D. Yeah,
3D,
like
and
3D.
yeah,
Exactly. We closed the house almost a week ago
uh-huh,
myself as my first home,
yeah,
and many of the houses that we were touring, it has a panoramic
right,
360
right.
view feature that you just change your mouse up and down and you see
Right.
everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
So you
And
don't have to drive.
it used to
Exactly.
be different. They used to have people will bring furniture and set up the house so you go and visit. But now everything is done visually. So
Right.
if you're a good person that has this kind of imagination, even that technology can be help with people. They can do that. And I think also a lot of people are going into technical teaching of things.
Hmm.
So it is there, but you just have to kind of look at your own desire for what you want to do. I used to tell them, I'm a very poor salesperson. If I had to sell something, forget it. You're not going to make any money. I don't know how to sell. And so that kind of thing, some people have the aptitude for it. They can sell you anything. Like what they say in here, you can sell the Brooklyn Bridge, with the foreign no.
Right.
So those kind of people are different. So it depends upon your aptitude, your own thing. So you're gonna have to sit down, and what I always tell people is take a piece of paper and put down, I can do this, I think I can do this, I can do this. And then you see what your experiences are and couple up and see what's the best combination comes up for you. You're
Excellent.
gonna have
And
to do a
maybe,
little bit of research on that.
yeah, maybe in addition to that, take the COVID factor in mind with all your capabilities
Mhm.
and think with yourself that, okay, with all these capabilities, which of these capabilities fit
Yeah,
COVID time?
right.
So
You
yeah,
want
if I want to go and open up a catering service at
yeah,
this situation, since
sure.
all of the businesses are shut,
Yeah,
then that business is not going to go anywhere.
yeah.
But if you do some kind of online training or online courses, maybe it's much more better,
Or
opportunity.
catering, and you can go to the restaurant. So if people bring the food for you, that would be good too. So
Yeah,
that's how
that.
you
No,
know. You
I was
can,
talking about business caterings.
yeah, but I'm just saying that like they were saying, a lot of buildings downtown. I used to work downtown, and we used to go in the tunnel, and just imagine what is happening to all the businesses in the tunnel.
Right,
Nobody
right.
coming up there. Nothing is happening out there. So like I had a friend who wanted to do pet grooming.
Hmm.
Never thought that would be a big business, but now they take a truck, you bring the dog and they clean the dog up and wash him and cut his hair and do everything. I had someone say they're doing dog walking. I said, dog walking, how can that make any money? They said, oh yeah, they're willing to pay me $30 an hour to walk the dog around for about half an hour, and it's a high school student. So
Right.
you're going to have a little bit more imagination to I I used to make fun when I first came, and for me, after working in Baba and Michigan State Research, when people doing business, he said, well, you're going to have to do the research. I said, what's research are these people talking about? For me, research was when you went into the lab and you did things, you know, it was different. And I was so stunned. But now I understand. I'm saying the same thing to people. You're going to have to look at what your capabilities are, what your expertise is going to be, and work it through.
Okay, great,
So,
excellent.
but
So
have a little bit of patience, you know. But
sure,
like I said, there's nothing like taking a piece of paper and writing down what are the things you want to do, what are the things you have the experience with, and what do you think is going to be the cost, you know, because money becomes critical when running a business.
all right. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're
Hamid,
welcome.
if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to close
Anytime you
it.
can get in touch with me, you know my email, and send it
Sure,
to me, and we'll see what we can do. And thank
sure,
you for
sure.
giving me this opportunity.
Thank you
Enjoy
very, very
meeting
much.
all of you.
Yeah, we really appreciate
Yeah,
your very valuable comments,
yeah,
and we are looking forward to working with you and your team,
yeah.
and our audience. I think will definitely use your
I want to
comment.
I want to wish all the people that are right now facing difficult times, hang in there. It'll go away, you know, with everything else, you know.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
just have to have a little patience
A
and
little
work,
patience.
okay?
Yeah.
And good
Sure.
luck to everybody, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. And I think Hamid is going to close the session.
Okay.
Hamid,
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful and insightful session. Just for your information, the recorded version of this presentation will be available by end of
Yeah.
tomorrow. Thank
I
you so
can
much.
send, I updated a couple of those SBA slides in there, and I'll send it to Vahid, and he can pass it on to anybody that he
sure,
wants. Okay?
sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
Thanks
much.
Good night.
indeed. Okay.
Bye.
Have a great evening. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.